What up, what up, what up? Welcome back, Cooling with Court. If this is your first time on this channel, we talk about personal development, spiritual growth, financial stability, and plenty more with no boundaries or limitations. What that means is we talk about whatever we want to talk about, right? So now I noticed that I ain't gonna say I noticed, but I guess we have been discussing more on spiritual growth and personal development right now. I guess because you got to understand that they all tie together, y'all. In order to manifest and change your financial stability is going to come from your consciousness first, you know. So now I want to cover three main topics I want to cover, and that's the mind, the body, and the spirit, right? On how to, I guess, get a more understanding on how to become a natural, I guess, healer and get closer to the creator, right? So it's just some things we talk about as far as like the chakras, our crown chakra, you know, getting us closer to spirituality on a different level, getting closer to the creator, right? Finding balance, right? Finding that balance, right? So this video might go into about 2 videos or so. So it's a lot to cover. But we're gonna kind of get to the point and I'm gonna try to briefly explain it the best I can. So the reference is the law of 1, 2, by the way. And like I said, we're gonna get to that as well. So the first mental, since we're gonna start with the mind, the mental, of course. Right? So as we start the mind, you gotta understand that's the conscious, right? Right? So where is your conscious? Can anybody answer that question in the comments, please? Where is your conscious? Like, where is it at? Is it in your brain? Is it in your head? Is it in your head? Like, that's your brain is in here. Where is your conscious? Okay, so first thing, in order to get closer and get that connection where you can get that in tune and get close to the creator, certain things we have to do, guys. We have to do certain things. And when the first thing going over the mind and the mental, which is the conscious, is examining yourself. Right? And I mean examining yourself. You know, start internalizing all the decisions you have made based off of influence, I guess. You know, based off of influence. What I mean by that is internalize the decisions you have made, not something somebody else told you. You know what I'm saying? Have you done your own research? Have you DYOR'd what they have told you? I mean, from childhood, just take some time, and this is the first stage. You have to start to examine yourself and start to internalize all these decisions. You know what I'm saying? What influence have bestowed upon you that you have made that decision? Because I touched a little bit about the universal laws, but one of the universal laws is the law of free will, which is the law of confusion. Being kind of that, I explain a little bit, being that the law of free will is stating that kind of in terms that if you, for example, we all here and we have a choice. It could be right, it could be wrong, the choice we make. So being that necessarily we kind of don't know, puts us in a confused state of mind, right? Because we don't know if we're making the right choice or not. But as the same time goes on, you're not supposed to infringe upon someone's else free will. That law of free will, the law of confusion, you cannot infringe upon someone else. What that means is you don't supposed to try to make someone else's mind change. You don't supposed to try to tell them, or not to change, like to try to tell them what to do. You don't supposed to tell them what to do. You have to let them make their own decision, right? But we'll go over that later. But internalizing, so as that free will, making your own decisions, right? Think about internalize what decisions have you made, right? What decision have you made personally? And then start identifying your flaws. What flaws do you have? Start to identify those, the ones you approve of and the ones you disapprove of. Start to think about them flaws, and then try to find the balance in the positive and the negative of those flaws, right? Try to find the balance between those flaws and fix them. So if you have, and you're very impatient, try to become more patient. If you find yourself being a little aggressive at times, try to be a little less aggressive. You know what I'm saying? So find that balance. You have to find that balance within your flaws, right? So number 2, I guess we'll go into number 2. So number 1, examine your stuff, internalize those decisions, those influences. Also examining them flaws, the ones you approve and disapprove. So number 2 is acceptance. Simple. Acceptance. Accepting those flaws. Accepting the positive and negative of both, right? Both of those aspects and characteristics. Consciously and physically, though. Consciously and physically acceptance. That means more on you're fine with how you think. It's okay. It's nothing wrong with how you think. There's nothing wrong with how you look, right? The physical aspect, there's nothing wrong with how you look, right? And accept that. Accept it, because we in a more of a day and age where a lot of people, are not happy with how they look, so they feel to, want to change it and want to change how they look or how they feel, on the physical, or even if it's just internal, emotional, right? They don't want to feel that way no more. But you have to understand what this does too for us, right? On a mental level, this will cause more confusion, which will cause blockage on continuing to kind of expand your consciousness, because it will cause those blockages is because we're already in a confused state of mind, right? Meaning, I just kind of discussed the law of free will, being that we have making a choice. We're already kind of we're already confused. Not just that, we're confused on everything, right? We came here with a veil over us, and we don't remember our history of human race. We don't remember exactly where we came from and how us all started. So we're all confused. So changing attributes about yourself and not being acceptance of your physical and mental is going to create blockages. Okay? So number 3, mental discipline is repetition, pretty much of the first one, but towards other people, right? Other people you meet. So what I mean by that is repetition of the first one, which is the first one is examining yourself, internalizing your own decisions upon influence, and then approving those and disapproving those flaws, right? So number 3, mental discipline is basically repetition of the number 1, except you extending this towards other people that you meet, right? So you have to you have to understand that you have to also not as well judge them and approve of their flaws, as well. It's not for you to judge them, because that's going to create that balance, because you have to understand that we are all the creator experiencing in a human experience and having our own separate experience, right? So we're all going through the same thing. We all belong to one creator, right? One creator. Oh, excuse me. So that is kind of like understanding the balance, because you got to understand, you have to treat other as you would like to be treated, right? And that's loving each other, right? So you cannot necessarily, you have to stop looking at people as they're not an extension of you, as the creator. And that's where a lot of us get caught up in this illusion most of the time. We get caught up in that illusion of thinking that just because they look different than us, just because their hair color is different, their skin color is different, their eye color is different, they're different. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's one thing, the illusion of colors we talked about. The illusion. You have to get over that. And that's number 3. Basically, is that that repetition of accepting others, and initializing, identifying with their, and disapproving their flaws. You cannot judge other people, pretty much. So for example, we have to understand the balance, and that's going to come from, for example, experiencing certain things. For example, when we come in contact with someone, right, who might be irritated, right? They irritated. It's automatically going to be necessary for our mental configuration to react irritated, right? So it kind of is it kind of just goes off of us. The energy kind of, if you don't take control of the energy when it comes to you, if somebody's acting in a certain manner towards you, you're going to react in that same manner if you don't counter that energy, right? So understanding yourself as well as understanding as others as being an extension of yourself and not being judgmental of that, right? So y'all, that's just the first 3, right? That's just the first 3. And I want to keep going over these first 3. Matter of fact, let's just get it. So, because it ain't even much to it, really. It's simple. Let's get on. Number 4. Repetition of mental discipline is the acceptance of others. So this is the repetition of number 2, right? Which is the acceptance of others. Remember, number 1 is identifying ourselves, our flaws, within internalizing. Number 2 is accepting those. Accepting the mental and physical attributions and aspects of how we were created, right? Number 4 is the repetition of number 2 with acceptance of others, right? So what that means is being acceptance of other people, not judging them, right? Not judging them for how they look and how they act and how they, etc. We cannot judge them. That's exactly pretty much what that's stating. So it's very simple. Number 4 is stating the repetition of number 2 in acceptance to other people on how you treat them, right? So these is all mental disciplines, y'all. These is all mental disciplines and able to control and able to heal and create and find that balance, right? And able to create and able to be able to evolve consciousness higher to a higher frequency. You have to be able to control your mind. Control your mind, So number 5, right? Let's get on to the last one of the mental is 5, right? So number 5 is observing the mind on different aspects. What I mean by observing and studying the mind on different aspects, y'all, is literally studying the mind on different aspects on a geographical, why can't I say it? What the geographical? Why doesn't that sound right? Geographical. What the? Okay, geographical. So on a geographical level, right? On a geographical level, you have to be able to observe the mind on that level, which is a physical level, right? And then a geometrical level, right? And that's studying the mathematics, right? The shapes the lines get more to the frequencies and the higher dimensions, right? And then studying other minds, studying other people's minds, right? Which we have a lot of people going to school to try to kind of figure out that and study other people's minds to understand why they think the way they think. And then studying other people's minds will bring us to a conscious minds, collective, on a collective level of how one group can see the same output consciously or connect consciously on a conscious level, as well as the infinite mind is understanding the existence of the mind and the consciousness and how it became. So like I always tell y'all, DYOR, do your own research, because these are stuff we have to study in order to get closer. And this is just the mental aspect. So, and we still have to go over the body and the spirit, so let's recap. First, mental discipline. Examine yourself, right? Identify and internalize the flaws and the decisions you have made, or internalize the decisions you have made upon influence, as well as examine those flaws you disapprove and approve of, right? Number 2, mental discipline is acceptance of yourself and your physical and mental attributes. Number 3 is the repetition of number 1 with the extension to others, right? So that means we stop internalizing, stop judging other people, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Find that balance, that they are an extension of you and that you cannot judge them for their flaws as well, right? Number 4 is the repetition of number 2 with the acceptance of others. Accept them for how they are and who they are, and understand they are an extension of you, which is you are the creator. So, and then number 5, y'all, observing the mind on those different aspects, right? Geographical on a geographical level, a geometrical level, a collective level, studying other people's minds, and as well as the infinite mind. So that is it, y'all. I've been rapping for too long. Y'all know I like to ramble and y'all be jumping off topics and stuff. But yeah, that's what it is. That's the mind, y'all. So next video, we're going to go over the body and the spirit. So stay tuned. We out.